Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here. For checking out the series, you know what to do. If you like what you see, what you hear, hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week. The new one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So it's a great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover those new ones. You can find us anywhere you get your podcast from, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, NPR, WFPK.org, or of course, right here on YouTube for the video versions. Anywhere you get your podcast from, you can subscribe to Kyle Meredith with, and please do give the series a rating and a review while you're at it. I'm Kyle Meredith. Today, we're going to talk about the movie It's What's Inside, playing now on Netflix with some of the cast. In fact, Brittany O'Grady, Gavin Leatherwood, and Alycia Debnam-Carey. So this movie, at its core, it's a body swap movie, but not one of the zany Freaky Friday type of things. A group of friends gather for a pre-wedding party that descends into an existential nightmare when an estranged friend arrives with a mysterious game that awakens long hidden secrets, desires, and grudges. We're going to be talking about the whole body swapping. We're going to be talking about portraying multiple characters in a movie. And in fact, when you're portraying somebody else that you're standing right across from, and vice versa, in multiple inception ways, that it's one of the coolest takes on this genre, I gotta say. So let's jump into it and talk about It's What's Inside. It's Kyle Meredith with Brittany O'Grady, Gavin Leatherwood, and Alycia Debnam-Carey.
Hi, Kyle. What's going on, man?
It's nice to meet you all. Congrats on this movie. Congrats on what I think is the sequel to The Breakfast Club that I've always wanted.
I haven't heard that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's good.
I think this is what I was always hoping to see from those characters. So you pulled it off. It is such an interesting movie. I don't know how many scripts you all get to read on a daily, weekly basis, but is it really obvious when you land on something like this that you found something unique to any one of you all?
I mean, the script was so different from anything else I've read, and I think that's kind of the general consensus, right? The thing about this project is it's such a visually dependent film. And I think the pitch deck that Greg had put together was a really strong indication of what the film was going to be. The script obviously, introduces these characters and you get to see the general story, but it was awfully confusing on the first read because of the swapping element and keeping track of everyone and what their motivations were throughout. But yeah, I mean, coming across this, I was like, this is unlike anything I've really read, right?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it really, I was sold on it when I saw clips from Greg's previous work, and he has such a distinct visual style that I could translate to the movie that it immediately made so much more sense, and I was like, oh, this is going to be really special. But I do think, yeah, there was something very unique about it, and, you don't often get a body swap movie at all that you get to play multiple characters, and I think as an actor, that's always, like, a fun challenge.
I was going to say the body swap movies usually get to be very zany and, Freaky Friday-ish. So it was nice to see something like this. Brittany, we'll start with you on this maybe because as we're talking about playing, multiple roles as an actor, like, sure, there's the thing of keeping up with everybody, but what is the challenge of not just playing yourself, but playing someone else that you're acting with?
I think the biggest challenge that you can come across with a storyline like this and a set like this is you got to make sure that everyone collaborates properly to make this successful and make this a really fun movie to make. And what I think was so exciting was we all were so game to commit to this. I don't think that a lot of actors, when they read the script, had faith necessarily that this was going to be something that could be successfully communicated, I guess, or shown as a story. And that's the brilliance of Greg as well. Greg is such an incredible writer, director, and editor, where we had to trust him to also make the story come to life as well. So I think the biggest challenge, but not just for me, but I think all of us, and I think we did so with Flying Colors, was just the collaborative effort. If you had a bunch of egomaniac actors who were super precious about the characters that they created, it could have gone wrong. But we were all very precious about the characters we created, but we all trusted each other to hold our creations close. So it was a very fun challenge, and it was so rewarding, and I don't think any of us really expected to be here, but we are, and we're really excited.
Did any of you all have any trouble keeping up with your own personal sense of character self? Did that ever happen?
No, I don't think so. I feel like we were all really prepared, honestly. I mean, you know, it was scary coming up against it, like, initially. I think at the beginning I was like, it was that general confusion of like, what is happening? Who does this person want? Who am I in now? But we had a week of rehearsal all together that Greg gave us time for, and without that, I feel like it would have been even more of a challenge. But we really all showed up like ready to play, on our A game, knowing what the day was gonna bring, and I think there was no like laziness. Everyone was just ready to go, which was so inspiring to be around.
I think the only thing that maybe was the one that I was definitely trying to keep tabs on was when you were working opposite someone and knowing where they had already come from, and like knowing that, okay, you're in this body and you've come from this scene, so you have a proper understanding of like what that dynamic is, because I think it was less like for ourselves, I feel like we had a really great strong hold on where we were, but sometimes it was like making sure that you knew where the other person was also coming from, maybe. So it was like, I think there were a couple moments where we were like, hang on, wait, were you in this spot? Okay, you were in that spot. Like, you know, trying to just make sure. But no, I feel like we really we did the work.
We did our homework.
We did our homework.
Yeah, we came ready to play.
Came to play.
Yeah.
I love just that idea of like you're creating people based on other people's input almost like the entire time, and how that works.
Yeah.
Gavin, I was looking at the show notes, and I think you had said something like you had a lot of character references because, for you, it was so different from who you actually are.
Sure.
Like, what were those character references? And for all three of you, like, do you watch anything or listen to anything in particular to find the mood of this story?
In terms of who my specific reference is, I'm not going to give that away, but out of respect for the person. But, I knew that Dennis was going to be a larger-than-life personality, and in order to kind of get into that, I followed along with this person's daily Instagram life and was finding myself changing things in my personal routine in order to kind of get in the mindset of who this guy believed himself to be. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, you kind of use like any tool at your disposal, right? You pick from people that you've met in your life, or just the ideas that you have of certain people. What was it like for Nikki?
I mean, for I think most actors, or I don't know, you do pull things from your own life to a degree, but I think for me with Nikki, it was almost quite obvious. Like, we're all living in this social media world that is like a constant bombardment of like aspirational, what you should look like, what your perception is, the idea of something and what you should be achieving. And so it almost was like kind of easy to be just pulling from, influencer culture and like fashion and what's trendy, what's cool. And so, which is so much of what, I've grown up with and have absorbed for such a long time that I kind of like knew it internally quite well in like a not like the best way, like we've all been so exposed to it.
It's here.
That it's like, it's just like, oh my God, like I guess I just know this in quite an intimate way. But I think what was great was Greg really allowed me to, I think for him, he was, he's less chronically online just because of, his being in a different generation. And I think he really allowed me to take the reins and be like, I trust you to know what that influencer culture looks like now, and making sure it felt fresh and current, and so that was it was a nice thing to be able to work on, but it was scary how I guess accessible it was for me.
What was Shelby like? Did you pull from anyone?
I usually use music and emotions. It's nothing really super specific. And then I also used my meetings with James and Greg a lot to help me form the character, because I think a lot of who Shelby was her relationship. So it was about kind of, I felt like I was able to form her more on my own when I was listening to music, and I go kind of intuitively with my characters, and then I wait how I bounce off of other people, because I think we as people sometimes become who we are by our interactions with others. So that was forming while working with James and Greg.
Because Shelby gets to take this really great journey, maybe more than anybody else, going from the, what's said, the anxiety, antisocialite thing to just this very confident thing by further later.
Yeah, and what's so beautiful is you see different actresses embody the different chapters of Shelby. So that was so cool. And that's the coolest part about being on this job, is getting, like, I was like, oh, I get to learn and grow as an actor and collaborate with all of these other risky people that want to do it. So that's the beauty of this film as a creator. You get to see other people create these beautiful interpretations of her.
If you want to reveal, because I got to ask, because you said the soundtrack, I mean, does Shelby have any very specific artists that sort of...
I listened a lot to an artist named Jensen McRae.
Jensen McRae, yeah.
Yeah, so because
dope.
I would listen to her a lot. She was kind of, for me, the emotional muse, the musical muse for Shelby. And, I think Spotify describes her as like a modern day Carole King, they say. And we've actually DM'd on Instagram, cool. But I don't know if she knows this, but she was a big inspiration for my character, Shelby.
That's so rad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember the song. She got Massachusetts. Is that her? There's a lot of songs out there. Yeah. Anyway, I know who you're talking about.
Wolf
just
is super good.
Beautiful.
I had to check her out.
I think I think it was Vaccine, or is it Vaccine, or that was the one I'd listened to a lot, and other ones just. She's haunting. Her music is hauntingly beautiful. So and very. It's like reading a diary basically out loud with a gorgeous deep tone. So she was a huge inspiration for my character, for me emotionally as an actor to get there.
Yeah, and there's a great soundtrack to this. Just sort of that throwback sound that sort of builds on the whole anxiety of the whole thing. Like I love that. Would you all do it? Given the chance.
No.
Nah.
No, I don't think so.
I think if you watch the movie, you'll understand why. Definitely not in this set or setting or with these people. I think if you're ever going to take on some sort of existential or psychedelic experience like this, you would want to be with a trusted group in a place that, I don't know, is a not such a haunting environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I mean, I'm curious though.
No.
You and Raina are like.
I mean, but I know. I want there to be this thing though. I'd be like, I want boundaries. I want guardrails. I want to know that it's the right setting. But in this movie, you really quickly learn that
it can go to shit
real fast.
It's kind of like not Lord of the Flies energy, but kind of like
it's got that brutal. I mean,
triangle of sadness.
Yes,
sort of like
Oh, that's a good reference.
It really does. It plays with the perception of people and the idea of something being better than your reality. And I mean, it's just, I think we're all very much feeling those themes in our real life, in the world, just by how the media and social media is so prevalent. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's a lesson in being yourself. Yay!
Because my thought is, if it did happen, I think everyone would just start automatically making out. Because I think that's if you don't know who is like, you're probably going to do that. Like I wasn't surprised when those moments happened in the movie. That's
yeah, right.
Yeah, right. I really did love this. I love this so much. I'm looking forward to the second watch so I can kind of feel it all again in that different way. Congrats on it to all of you all, and thanks so much for taking the time to talk about it.
Thank you so much.
Nice chatting.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All 3 of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.